Welcome to the Property Talk, where we make sense of the real estate industry. So earlier on, I gave you a tour of what we could look at as a one-bedroom unit, two-bedroom unit, a studio apartment. Set with me are two lovely gentlemen joining me, and they're going to be able to break down for you everything I was talking about. It's going to be exciting. It's a pleasure having you on set, Martin. It's a pleasure having you on set, Andrew. So now here we are. So when they told me behind these premises are different minds, different curators, different designers that bring all this to life, I said, I have to sit down with them. I have to know what they are thinking about when they bring all this to life. And I was honored to have this moment with you. First and foremost, the chairs we are sitting on, these are beautiful. I love that. You know, when we tend to look at wood for chairs and furniture, we're thinking that's uncomfortable. But you sit into this and it hugs your back. I love that it just hugs your back. We Africans are endowed below here. We are blessed. So I just sit here, and you will sit on some chairs at times and your hips are pressed on the side. But these chairs look small when you look at them on the eye. But I'm seated on this chair and every part of me is comfortable and my back is hugged. So what goes through your mind when you're curating these pieces?
Basically, when you design any item, whether it's a furniture piece, even a machine that someone will use, you need to consider the sitting angle, the height of the chair, because the human body is defined in a way. So we need to make sure whatever we make works with your body and works with him, with someone like me, so that it's ideal for everyone. So the comfort you feel has been thought of when you're making the whole product. And that comes even to the design side, because before we produce this chair, we sit down and have a discussion, we sketch it out, we make what you call a prototype. And that does not start from the physical item. We make a 3D model of the item itself. We check for any issues, not only in the final product, but also in the manufacturing and assembling of the item. Because I can design something, but when you give it to the person to assemble, it's impossible. So we need to look at the whole process, start from the manufacturing side to you when you go sit on it. Basically, when you design any item, whether it's a furniture piece, even a machine that someone will use, you need to consider the sitting angle, the height of the chair, because the human body is defined in a way. So we need to make sure whatever we make works with your body and works with him, with someone like me, so that it's ideal for everyone. So the comfort you feel has been thought of when you're making the whole product. Before we produce this chair, we sit down and have a discussion, we sketch it out, we make what you call a prototype. And that does not start from the physical item. We make a 3D model of the item itself. We check for any issues, not only in the final product, but also in the manufacturing and assembling of the item. Because I can design something, but when you give it to the person to assemble, it's impossible. So we need to look at the whole process, start from the manufacturing side to you when you go sit on it, to make sure that the product is ideal for everyone, and it also has a seamless product.
And to think I only thought technology is one that has prototypes. I thought laptops, phones, computers, TVs are the only ones that have prototypes. Now, when you're done with, designing all these prototypes, what inspires the shapes, the textures, the feels, right front line when it comes to MDF board? And I have used MDF board the wrong way. And when I got in here, I saw you guys are using MDF board different. And I'm like, okay. I laughed at myself at first. I said, okay, how do you guys actually get to know that this works for this and this doesn't work for this, and we can use this to do this? Because when I look at this table we stood on, by then I love this table so much. I love that I can do this with my hands and sit on it. This feels good, like when I'm having a meal with my kids and I'm scolding them before the meal. It feels so good, because you find most of our homes, we have a table this high, you're seated on it and it's right at the level of your neck or your bosom. You can't do much with it. Then you have others, they are too low, because I see Andrew right here is blessed with the height and he's still here. Martin and I, we're almost at the same height, but we're still comfortable. So of the human. So that's why I'm asking, how do you get to know that this works for this and this doesn't work for this?
So you've asked a very good question on how we're able to combine metal and wood. And mostly even for the aesthetics, when you see items made like that, they look really good. And I would throw that a lot to the investments we made in a lot of technology, because as you walked around the factory,
basically it's machinery.
Yes.
And machinery I've never seen all my life.
Exactly. So we have a wide range of machines. You've seen CNC metal bending machines,
Yes.
CNC tube cutting machines, where we're able to program, feed the machine with a program that makes precise cuts and holes, so that when you go and merge it with, say, wood, when you're making, say, a sofa or a table like this, they work well because you also have CNC machines that work with the wood itself. So you can imagine if you combine technology on wood and metal, it becomes very easy to integrate both. There's not a lot of manual work involved. And again, we've also invested in technology in terms of how to bind the two together, whether it's adhesive, pins, and the like. So when you come up with a design, again, I'm able to divide, say for this table, we are going to use these three machines.
And then the other thing I noticed is your furniture is light.
Yes.
Very, very light. We know there's the misconception that if it's metal, it's heavy. Your furniture, even when it's metal, and wood, it's very light. How do you achieve that?
Sofa, which is very durable and also very lightweight.
Because they were very light. Right? I literally carried a single seat with my one arm, and I was amazed by it.
And secondly, when you design it, you also consider where the loadings will be, basically where the weight goes. Because a mistake most people make, you fill the whole thing with your material, yet it will not carry any weight. So you consider all the loading points, and that's how you reinforce. So that's how we're able to at least to make the item cheaper, so that when you're moving around the house, you can easily carry it around and it still serves you well.
In conclusion, as we conclude this conversation, what do you have to say to the parting audience when it comes to your furniture, when it comes to your brand? What do you have to say to the audience parting? Well, my words to the audience before we go is the one thing I loved about being here is how everything is recycled, how nothing is left to wastage. I like that even just a small particle of metal that just dropped off when they were cutting is somehow found usage for, somehow purpose for it is found. I love that not even just a single thread is disposed of. That thread is either going to be used for something else. And I love that. It's like an ecosystem. But what are your parting words to the audience?
So my parting word would be, we invest a lot in making sure you get the right product for you, not only for your comfort, but also to give your home good feel. And we invest a lot of time, effort, and energy to making sure the technology that goes into it, the expertise that goes into it, the research and development that goes into it, ensures you have the best product possible at the best price for you and using the best standards available. So that's our guidance. That's what guides us to whatever we make. And we believe that once if we make something that you are happy with, then we have achieved something.
Yes, Andrew.
Okay, so I'll answer you in terms of how do you know the right material to use for the right item?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
See now, for like the table like this, you cannot use MDF without having protection. So actually, this is an MDF, but it's painted with lacquer paint.
This is MDF.
This is MDF painted with lacquer paint.
What is lacquer paint?
Lacquer paint is different from the normal paint in terms of it comes from resins, from trees and waxes. And it
Wait a minute, Andrew. There's a paint that comes from trees and waxes.
Yes.
You can imagine that. And the
It's
only
extracted from trees.
Is made in factories just with chemicals put together, different kind of chemicals, and paint is made. And now I'm learning this today that there's actually such a type of paint.
Yeah, and when it's painted,
yes,
it forms a solid on the material. Instead, like while the other normal paint, it's just for protection and it has moisture, so it makes we have the standard size because it's different. People from America, the big, small.
So wait, these tables actually go through standards to have standard heights made for them. It's just not about entering the factory and choosing and saying we want a dining table and the owner is say 6 feet tall and you say okay, yeah, they're 6, so let's just take on from that. They're actually standards they go through for heights. I'd like to know, I have my display samples that I'd like to look at. Is this the same paint we're talking about?
Yes.
Is this the paint?
Yeah.
So it comes in such color shades.
Exactly.
Oh my.
And it has a very high level of sheen in terms of you can have it as matte or high gloss.
Wow. So basically you can have any color you think of or dream of. Any color you want. I love this. So you can have all these colors to play with.
So this is chips of board that have been processed from wood
Okay.
and mixed with chemical and laminated together, and then put this. You see this color? It's different on the side.
This work. So when you have a Martin who actually does the design, the layout, the curating of the design, and then you have an Andrew who looks at the process, the whole procedure, how it's going to be done, if it's executable or not.
Also, as with being around furniture, you know what works with what.
Oh,
So exactly, yeah.
interesting. So to you out there who's watching, it's just not a come and pick and walk out situation. The other thing I'd like to understand from you, Martin, given that you're the curator and the designer, how do you find ways to blend metal with wood? Because I noticed most of your furniture has the blend of metal and wood. How do you find that to blend the two? Change my wall paint to keep, changing my space. I don't have to change my furniture anymore. But we got through problems whereby you've bought furniture because you're in the heat of the moment. You had the money, you didn't do your due diligence, you didn't understand what you're buying. You buy furniture and you have all the money, but they're not even running on budgets. Five or even minutes, 3 years down the road, you're calling an interior designer. How can I change my furniture? What can I do with my furniture? Whenever I sit on that chair, I'm not comfortable. My back hurts. I go to eat my meal and my back is hurting. I want to lay in my chair and watch a movie, but it's boring. I can't even lay in it. Why is that? You did not do the due diligence, the right processes. Andrew Martin, it was a pleasure having you on set. If you want to know much more about the team I am with, this is the team at DRM Furniture, yes, courtesy of Dr. Mattress. And where we're filming from right now is in Nairobi, Kenya. Where is this location we're in?
City.
We're in Tatu City. Yes, that is in Nairobi, Kenya, Tatu City. I said, why not give the property show something different? You're always telling me Christabel is showing us houses. Christabel is showing us properties. But we want to know what we can put in these properties. So I said, say no more. And here I am. I decided to give you the whole ecosystem, how these things transition, how they work. It was a pleasure having you on set. Thank you so much.